Men in Black and Shaft become the latest summer sequels to disappoint. That is the headline on this week's MBE Movie News. And John, this comes in from boxofficemojo.com in regards to the weekend releases of Sony's Men in Black International and Warner Brothers Shaft. They're not doing so well, are they?
No, they're not, Stephen. This is just systematic, really, of the Hollywood system, Stephen, and just their over-reliance on current franchises or franchises that have been established, who perhaps have a full arc, a start, a middle and an end. And then they just want to go back and rehash it again and again and again. I think this is what it is, Stephen. In the Shaft's case, I don't think there's so much a franchise, and that it's 3 movies, 3 separate movies, including this one.
I can't remember, John.
I think you had one with the original actor.
Yeah.
Then Samuel L. came in.
Yeah.
And then this one is like a generational story.
I remember the one from about 20 years ago, that Samuel Jackson with the original actor that played Shaft. But I don't know if that was a film or if it was a television series with the original actor. I can't remember.
No, it was definitely a movie. The one with Samuel L. was definitely a movie, Stephen. And then this one's a generational movie. It's Samuel L., his son, and then obviously I think the original Shaft is playing perhaps his father. I don't know, it's strange.
Talk about passing the baton, eh?
Yeah, passing the baton. But Stephen, in that case, I just think it's a movie that nobody ever asked for.
No.
Never really wanted.
Didn't know they were doing it.
No, I didn't know they were doing it, Stephen, until very late. And that's been reflected in the box office numbers. People aren't going to see the movie. It's saying here that both have not been able to reach even the slimmest expectations of the studios heading into the weekend. The weekend in general was down significantly on last year, but I think that's an unfair sort of a comparison because last year we had Incredibles 2 releasing at this time, and that was just a movie which everybody was absolutely, I mean, was it 12 years between them? Was it even further?
14 years.
14 years. People had waited to see that new interpretation of those characters, so you can't compare. No. But Stephen, it's just, for me, it's systematic of all the ills of Hollywood today. The over-reliance on franchise movies, not willing to take a risk and perhaps give a young up-and-coming indie director a chance on a story that he's created in his head. And this is why more and more we need somebody like Netflix to come in and give these actors or these directors a chance to have their creative juices flowing in an environment that's not full of pressure and just over-reliance on you must get box office numbers, because this is what you get if you don't have Netflix. Traditional studios pouring out the same old crap again and again and again. We said it, Stephen. Why the hell did they even make a Men in Black International? Why?
Just retracing our steps, John. We've both seen the Men in Black, the previous films, the 3 films. I think we saw them all in cinema. And I can't really remember much about the second one. It really racked my brain. I was like, I can't really remember what happened.
The
third one really stands out for me because Josh Brolin was playing the younger version of the Tommy Lee Jones character in that one, and it was set in the 60s, I think. First one is iconic. It was an absolutely amazing film.
It's the best.
And I've seen it time and time again. Going back to Shaft as well, we did trailer reactions for both of these movies a few months ago now. They didn't really do anything for me, to be honest with you. I was intrigued to see where they were taking these characters and where they were going to go with it. Understood that Men in Black International was going to be set in the same universe, but somewhere else.
In England,
you know, so it was going to be set somewhere else, and Emma Thompson character was the one that was connecting.
And then
from
apparently,
movies.
according to Stockman, who reviewed it, she's barely in the movie. She's in the movie for about 2 scenes and then she's gone. So that thread is gone. And handling the baton.
Seems to be a common trend now. Shaft, on the other hand, I liked the film from, I don't know when it was, 2000 or something?
I think it was 2000.
Roughly then, But that was Samuel Jackson at his peak at that point, and it was a decent character to play as well. Suited him to a T. Wasn't really interested in any follow-up story on the character, to be honest with you. But that seems to be the common trend, and you're right, I think it's very unfair to compare it to last year's Incredibles 2, John, which was a much anticipated sequel. We all loved that original movie. Some might say that Incredibles 2 surpassed that one. I'm not talking about box office numbers here, just in quality of film. So it seems to be a worrying trend at the moment, certainly in summer films as well. And you're right, I think somewhere down the line, platforms like Netflix have got to give these, or they do actually give these directors, you know, their opportunity to really flex their muscles and what they can do.
Sometimes they'll be crap, Stephen, but what, you give them a chance.
Well, you look at the likes of Brightburn, on paper that did look like a good concept. I know it was the Son and Jor-El story. I get that, you know, a very, some might say, lazy inspiration for a film and just flipping the good side of things to evil. The film didn't really do anything at all. It was quite disappointing, to be honest with you. But it was anticipated. This, on the other hand, when this Men in Black International trailer came out, I just felt, what's the point of this, you know?
No, I said at the time.
I don't really know where they can go with this other than do what they've already done.
Yeah, I said at the time, Stephen, reacting to it, that it had the potential to be wildly successful if they actually pulled it off, but equally that it had the massive opportunity of being a complete flop.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's a complete flop.
Sadly, yeah.
Because sadly, they have not freshened up the franchise like they were alluding to, taking the characters in a different part of the world within the same universe. And it doesn't work, Stephen, because what kept Men in Black going was Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. The chemistry between the two, the charisma of Will Smith. Yeah. When you take them away, Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth had great chemistry in Ragnarok, but neither have the out-and-out charisma of a Will Smith.
Well, the problem is, John, what they're doing with those actors is that they're trying to recreate that chemistry with the original actors.
And it doesn't work.
You get Tessa Thompson playing the sort of Will Smith character, more sort of cocksure character. Yeah. And you've got Chris Hemsworth playing the sort of more, not cynical, but more sort of knowledgeable and you know, he's been down that road before. Character as well, and it just doesn't seem to have worked.
No, it doesn't, which is a shame. But look, that's life, Stephen. Yeah. Modern day movies and entertainment business, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yep.
I don't know what I said, but Stephen, we shall move on to the next topic. It's very intriguing, talking about going off in a new direction and trying to do something new with a tried and tested franchise. This is certainly what Tarantino's doing here. He's confirmed that his Star Trek project is going to be R-rated. It's going to be sweary, and again R-rated. He says that yes, he was asked by, I think it was Empire, whether it would be swear-laden, and they replied, oh yeah. He also says that it's an R-rated movie. If I do it, it'll be R-rated. There's a script that exists for now. I need to weigh in on it, but I haven't been able to do that yet. Now, this has created widespread panic within the Star Trek fandom. They're concerned that it's going to besmirch the history. Obviously, I think it's Gene Roddenberry. Gene Roddenberry who created it all, and they're concerned that this is going to besmirch it. Of course, the Shat is now, aka William Shatner, is now weighed in this article, Stephen. For me, the Shat is Star Trek out with Leonard Nimoy, the sadly now deceased Leonard Nimoy. He is Star Trek, much like Mark Hamill is Star Wars, and he's came to the defence of Quentin Tarantino and his potential R-rated movie by saying on Twitter, and I quote, "Why are people potsing about this? It's my understanding that Star Trek Discovery has used expletives in some episodes. Why aren't people melting down over that?" Well, I'll tell you why they're not. Because it's not Quentin Tarantino, and he's a very much a... How would you explain... He's a Marmite figure. Some people love him, some people hate him. If you go onto Twitter, you'll find that a lot of feminists and whatnot don't like Quentin Tarantino, so... And a lot of them may be Star Trek fans, and they're airing their displeasure at him getting his grubby... I was about to say little, but he's got very big hands. He's 6'2". So yeah, what's your thoughts on this, Stephen? I know you're not that big a Star Trek fan.
What I will say, John, is that it might inject a new fan base as well for the franchise.
Good, yeah.
Certainly, I'm on board, and I'm not a Star Trek fan.
I can't wait to see it, Stephen.
I'm interested to see where he would take this. Tarantino is coming out of his, I wouldn't say his comfort zone. Certainly the films that he's already directed are comfortable. But going into an already established franchise is something that is sort of out of the box for the director, and I'm very intrigued to see how he will deal with that, if he'll stay true to you know, the characters of past, or if he's going to take it off in a new direction. Another thing as well is Tarantino's quite famous you know, for using actors time and time again. Samuel Jackson comes off the top of my head. Would he appear in some role? I'd be very intrigued to see that. And the likes of... that'd be interesting. Likes of John Travolta.
Russian guy, I forget his name.
You know, but there's a long list of actors. Uma Thurman is another one that he always goes back to. It'd be interesting to see if any would be, you know, contemplated But it's very early days at the moment. I know that his script is with writers at the moment. He's very busy, obviously, with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood coming out later this summer. So I think maybe once the dust is settled in that film, I think he'll go full steam ahead into this project. Don't know if it's going to get ahead. There's no confirmation of whether this is going to get ahead, but there's been a lot of talk about this over the last 6 months. So I think somewhere down the line we will see the light of day of this movie.
Well, Stephen, the general consensus about the script was that it was very, very good. People who'd read it says it was outstanding.
Good.
But would it sit as a standalone movie within the sort of a Tarantino verse? Obviously not the same verses, obviously, like Big Kahuna Buggers and whatnot.
Yeah, Apple Cigarettes.
It's not there. But would it sit separate to obviously the Simon Pegg and J.J. Abrams directed and written movies?
Right,
Who knows?
Okay, yeah.
Because they are very different movies from an R-rated sort of a take in the franchise. And Pegg's written the last one, I think it was Discovery.
Yeah.
Is that right? Star Trek Discovery? It may not have been. But the one he wrote anyway, the last new take of Star Trek, it was very much like an old school Star Trek story. It really went in hard on pleasing the out and out Trekkies. Yeah. Although some of them were still displeased. So this, I think, would perhaps be a standalone movie. I'd love to see it. I have to say, I'd love to see these characters swearing like troopers. And just how that would blend in. Getting to see R-rated opens up the potential for more bloody and sort of gruesome things happening as well. Yeah. Going to visit these alien landscapes and seeing some shit going down instead of just... Oh, I say that, the original Star Trek series, I suppose you could assess, would have qualified as R-rated in today's age if it wasn't tomato, soup, blood and whatnot. But I recall them fighting. I watched the original series and I recall obviously Kirk fighting. Can't recall that lizard humanoid creature, but there was a blood galore, but it was like tomato soup or ketchup. So technically it could have still been, I mean it could still work and it'd be paying homage to the originals. I don't know, but look, I'm on board for it. I hope it happens.
I hope so as well, John, but a film that is definitely happening. It's coming out next month is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood now. Coming in from Empire Online, there is a new movie poster just been released. It's in traditional 70s sort of action,
it's sensational
adventure sort of genre. It says coming soon. It's got the lead actors at the top there. I don't know if you want to maybe throw a graphic up on that one, John, because it's an absolutely stunning piece of artwork there.
It really is.
We saw
behind us shortly, Stephen, if I have my way.
Oh, definitely, yeah. In the new studio. But listen, this comes off the back of that fake poster that was made for one of the Rick Dalton films. Can't remember what it's called, but it was same kind of style.
Operation Dynamo, was it? No, that was an operation in World War II.
I can't remember, John. It was
Dynamo.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember. But
Operation
listen,
Dynamo.
The actual the style of it is very similar to that anyway. Where you've got it looks more like sort of
Operation Dynamo was D-Day.
Yeah, I've moved on, John. Please move on. Yeah, listen, it's a great poster, and it kind of reminds me back to those films of the sort of late 60s, early 70s. Certainly, it reminds me of a certain film, Game of Death, and the movie poster for that. But what do you think of this, John? I think it's absolutely stunning.
I think it's incredible, Stephen. Much like the fake posters we had for those fake movies within the universe of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's very similar. Beautiful, authentic period sort of artwork. Just the recreation of the three main characters. You obviously have Rick Dalton and his stuntman, who I always forget.
Cliff Booth. Cliff Booth. Yeah.
I was about to say Phil Booth, but thankfully I didn't. But I did there, so technically I did. And then obviously you have a whole host of other people on there. Margot Robbie's there, yeah, but Pacino's there, and then you've Cliff Booth again with his T-shirt on. A whole host of different characters in there. You get the gist.
Kurt Russell as well.
Kurt Russell, Stuntman Mike. Did you say that could be?
Well, I don't know who he'll be because the Stuntman Mike I don't even know what that time period was for Death Proof. It never actually explains it. Although they do use a lot of modern technology, so I assumed it was modern day. I don't know if there'll be any connection. Certainly there is sort of vibes that he is some kind of stuntman. So
thankfully there's no Charles Manson on the poster, so that gives me hope. Although I do see the family there. Looks like obviously the women that were involved with him that actually committed murders. So all in all though, Stephen, it's a fantastic piece of artwork. I just feel like the promotional aspect of this movie has been on point. The trailers have been superb. The way they've released little bios about the characters, obviously Cliff Booth and Rick Dalton first and foremost. Been amazing the way they've meshed real life characters with false sort of fictional characters. I just cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be superb. It got a standing ovation at Cannes.
15 minutes.
15 minutes was it?
Wow.
Yeah, with obviously the camera panning in way too close. But all in all, I really love it, and I hope it's available so we can get it up.
I think it will be, John. I think it's going to be a big seller, that poster.
It really is. Yeah,
it's some piece of artwork. But listen, we'll move on to our next article. This comes in from slashfilm.com. This is in regards to Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
And the director explains how he got the approval from both Stephen King and Kubrick's estate. It was a question and answers. It was a really interesting article, John. Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
We all know from the likes of Gerard's Game and The Haunting of Hill House. I always struggle to say that for some reason.
It's a fantastic series.
Yeah, I mean, something I never really considered, and we did the trailer reaction for this the other day.
Yeah.
Was that we know the history of Stephen King's sort of feelings towards Stanley Kubrick's film, and trying to get that balance. And I can imagine Mike Flanagan, talking to Stephen King to get his approval on this. Also, respecting the novel, but also when they're doing this film, John, it's a direct sequel to obviously Stanley Kubrick's film as well. Dr. Sleep has to really blend in with the original movie. There was also a little article in there that answered a lot of your questions when we were watching that trailer, which we'll get into, John. But what's your feelings on this? Because I'm quite glad that it did get the approval from both parties on this, because I think it always helps the director when he gets the blessing of the writer and obviously the estate from the late great Stanley Kubrick.
Stephen, I'm absolutely delighted to hear that he's got the approval of Stephen King first and foremost. It's this great man's work that we're adapting first, so you would really have to get his blessing. He was famously not happy with The Shining, so I'm glad to see he's went to him and got his approval first and foremost. But as you did say, you have to blend this in. If you're doing a sequel to The Shining, it's one of the iconic horror movies, whether it was a great adaptation or not, you have to go and obviously seek some approval from Kubrick's estate to be able to utilise some of the great visuals from that movie, and then it becomes a more cohesive, overarching sort of experience. You could go and watch The Shining and then go into Dr. Sleep. It could provide the opportunity as well for perhaps Flanagan to right some of the wrongs from The Shining. As he does say, there's some characters that are alive in The Shining that aren't at the end, which are alive in the movie. So he has to clean that up. So there'll be, perhaps this may be a way for Stephen King to perhaps make that experience a little bit more enjoyable. If they make this movie great, I doubt it'll be as iconic as The Shining. No. But if they can make it a very good movie, perhaps he can then go back and watch that and get something more out of it. As you did say, Stephen, that great little bit at the bottom of the article where they're saying which shots were in the movie from the actual Shining, which weren't. There was only one shot in the movie which they utilised in the trailer, and that was obviously the blood coming out of the elevators. Which you can't recreate, not frame for frame. That was just an absolutely iconic scene, and we wouldn't have got that if he didn't get obviously permission from Kubrick's estate. So I'm glad he's got the permission. I'm glad he's got the permission from Stephen King, and just the fact that they've recreated once again. We've seen it in Ready Player One. They've recreated sets in the corridors, and we've got little Danny Torrance whipping around in his little go-kart pedal thing, and we're seeing the twins. And stunning attention to detail, and it's going to be a real homage, I hope, to The Shining. I always forget the name of the hotel it was set in.
I think it does mention it in the
Overlook.
That's it.
So I can't wait to see it, Stephen. You know, I'm a massive fan of The Shining. I'm a massive fan of Stanley Kubrick in general, so I can understand that Stephen King not being happy. I love that movie, so I don't care. So if they're blending the two, I'm really happy.
I think as well, John, it's a very tough ask for any director to do a sequel to a film that's been so iconic for the last 40 odd years. Getting the blessing from Stephen King, and I think he was very okay about it as well. According to that article, the meeting went very well, and he's very open. And
he does strike me as a guy that likes having his work adapted. He's seen so much from this guy.
I think over the last few years, most of the work that's been adapted has been of considerable success as well. Certainly it has. Gerard's Game as well. I think he's just a terrific writer, and as you said, he was a key. I think if you don't get his blessing, then the film can't really.
It's doomed to fail.
Yeah, it's doomed to fail. But I'm looking forward to it, John.
Yeah, Stephen,
I can't wait to see the film, and I think as well, Ewan McGregor. from what we've seen in that trailer, he looks like he's doing a good job.
He really does. The final thing I would add is just the fact that he has been involved in Hush, which again was a great little horror movie starring John Gallagher Jr. I can't recall the woman's name. And then The Haunting of Hill House. That was a movie which was full of tension and paranormal sort of stuff going on, and just gripping sort of themes and stories. So I cannot wait.
And that's what you need for this movie.
This is exactly what you need. But look, we shall move on, Steve.
Yeah, we will to the final article. It comes in from Cinema Blend again, and this is Dolph Lundgren. He thinks that Michael B. Jordan could direct Creed 3 like Stallone and Rocky. Now, what he said is, he says, I've heard things about a Creed 3. I haven't. I think Drago is in it somehow. I heard Michael B. Jordan wants to direct something. Maybe he could direct it like Stallone and Rocky. I hope I'm in it.
Well, Dolph, I hope you're not in it. And I hope that Drago has no connection whatsoever, not even his son, nothing.
No.
You have to move on. All of the Rocky movies, I feel, have traditionally, out with obviously, I think 3 and 4. Was that right? 2 and 3? Which one did Apollo die? 3?
4.
4, and then obviously, was that the same one where Rocky went over and fought him?
Yeah.
So it wasn't. It didn't. So they traditionally move on.
Yeah.
Apart from the first two, where obviously Apollo and Rocky are fighting, they traditionally move on to a new story, a new person to fight. So we don't go back. The only thing I take from it that I do agree with is Michael B. Jordan having a chance to direct. The guy strikes me as a very intelligent chap. Knows what he's doing. He's very passionate about acting, movies in general. He's a very driven guy. So I'd love to see him get a chance. He understands the character now. He's been doing it for 2 movies, so give him a chance to direct.
I think as well, John, Sylvester Stallone has already said he's have no part of any possible third movie. I think that's a good thing. I don't mean that in a bad way towards Sylvester Stallone, but I think it's a good thing for Michael B. Jordan and the character to expand a bit, develop, because I think there's always going to be that shadow over him with Rocky Balboa. The last thing you want is the Dragos in there as well. Let's cut ties finally from the Rocky franchise. The character's been developed enough, as you said, over the last 2 films. His relations with the Tessa Thompson character as well is very interesting. And that last film was all about families and stuff like that, and relationships. Let's just have a film where Adonis can finally be his own man. He's not got Fight
Club of Lang's daughter.
No, it's terrible. I just think it's time. If they're going to do a third film, just let's go out and let's just go off in a different direction, because I think the character's developed enough. He's a likeable character as well. I like the character, so let's just see what it takes us. Yeah,
Stephen. The final thing I'll add before you round up the show is that obviously Creed 2. I think it was Michael B. Jordan actually asked Sylvester Stallone to step away from directing it because he felt like I can't recall, was it Stephen Caple Jr. They got on board. That he felt that he would have a better connection with the character and just the feel of the movie. Being obviously a person of colour himself, he could better connect and make the story more realistic. Whereas Stallone, I'm not saying he can't, but obviously it worked out in the end because Creed 2 was a brilliant film.
Michael B. Jordan's a good judge of character as well, and he made a good judgment call on that one because that second film really did succeed. He did, Stephen, and obviously he's saying there that he's worked with talented directors and whatnot, and that's really driven him to have a new challenge. So I hope he does get directed movies, as I said. But listen, that just wraps up the show. Just like to thank you once again for joining us on this week's MBE Movie News, and we will be back again tomorrow with the blog rundown.